call the meeting to order. It's Tuesday, April 14th. We're here at the, I keep saying the Civic Center, but maintenance building for our regular monthly meeting. We're going to stand for a moment of silence, followed by the pledge of allegiance. Thank you. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Lindsay, call the roll, please.
Mayor Kathy?
Here.
Mr. Pollock?
Here.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Key?
Here.
Thank you. Next is the approval of the minutes that we've all seen. I'll accept the motion to accept by consent unless there are corrections or additions.
I make a motion to accept consent.
A second.
We have a second. Any questions or comments about the minutes? Any opposition to the motion? Let the record reflect that passes 5-0. Also, Mario, for the record, are there, like, is Nick on the line, or
He
do
is.
we need to recognize people that are, or is he just?
Nick is officially now on the line.
Okay. So also the attorney is present via phone.
Either Nick. He's watching also.
Okay, good enough. All right, moving on to our agenda. We have the second reading of Ordinance 742. This has been discussed multiple times. We had the first reading. Simply allows food trucks for 2 years from the I believe in the body of the ordinance it states from the
Date of adoption.
date of adoption. So is there any comments about ordinance 742? Do I have a motion to read by title only?
I have make a motion to read by title only ordinance 742 allowing the food trucks and trailers to remain for 2 years.
All right, Maura, would you please read? Is there a second to read? I have a motion and a second. Please read, Maura.
An ordinance of the City of Mexico Beach, Florida, allowing food trucks, modular buildings to remain or be placed at certain commercial locations for up to 2 years, providing for severability and providing an effective date.
All right, is there a motion for adoption?
I make a motion to adopt it.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments concerning ordinance 742? Call the roll, please.
Mayor Kathy?
Yes.
Mr. Pollock?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Key?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next is ordinance 745. This was also the second reading where we discussed the amending the clerk responsibilities. Are there any questions before we ask for a motion on ordinance 745? Okay. Chair will entertain a motion to read ordinance 745 by title only.
Make a motion to read ordinance 745 by title only.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any objection to reading? Please do so.
An ordinance of the City of Mexico Beach, Florida, amending section 31.02 of the city code to modify city clerk responsibilities, providing for severability, codification, and providing an effective date.
Motion for adoption.
I make a motion for adoption of ordinance 745.
So,
We have a motion and a second. Again, any questions, comments concerning ordinance 745? Lindsay, again, call the roll, please.
Mayor Kathy?
Yes.
Mr. Pollock?
yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Key?
Yes.
All right. Next is a resolution, 746. Now this is an ordinance in the first reading about amending the council meeting, after the election for when the new elected council members take office. And it simply says that it will take office the first meeting after the election.
And Mayor, if I can clarify that, because the election happens before our next meeting, which is when you can do the second reading, it'll have to happen after that meeting, so the new council member would take office on the 12th of May.
That's right. All right, do we have any questions before we have a motion to, ask for a motion to read concerning ordinance? Yes, sir.
What's the normal term? When does it expire?
2 years.
June,
No, what date does it
it
expire?
was June 1st, wasn't it? 1st of June.
Used to be June first.
So why
Well, it
wasn't
won't
it?
now.
No.
It'll be 2 years. We just move the June date to the May date, and it'll end on May.
Oh, so not,
It's still 2 years.
why are we doing this?
Did you read the ordinance?
Not yet? No.
Well, that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
Because the 6 weeks between the time of the election and the June 1st, and during that 6-week period is, and you just end up with a lot of time with whoever's leaving and whoever's coming in,
Got it, okay, thank you.
okay? Any other questions on ordinance 746? Do I have a motion to read the title only?
I make a motion to read ordinance 746 by title only.
So,
Please do.
An ordinance of the City of Mexico Beach, Florida, amending 3.1.25 of the Code of Ordinance to start the term office of city council member on the date of the first meeting after an election, providing for severability, codification, and providing an effective date.
All right, we'll move that into, just add that to our agenda for next meeting. Excuse me. Moving to number 4 is 2003, 20-03, a resolution ratifying job descriptions. Mara, why don't you give, I know we can read it, but just
Certainly.
paraphrase it for us.
Basically, what we did was we created 2 job descriptions. We had the existing city clerk job description, and we made it where it was not mandatory for that person to be an accountant. And in doing so, we created an accounting position so that we could hire a person that was strictly an accountant, so that we'd have a little bit better chance of hiring an individual that could. We were having a very hard time finding an individual that did both, city clerk and accounting. This allowed us to separate the 2 so that we could hire strictly a city clerk and strictly an accountant. And we did this in our last meeting, but because we did not have a resolution, we couldn't make a formal action. So this is giving the formal action of what we did last meeting, and we have advertised at this point in time. And at this point in time, Lindsay is advertised on Facebook, on our website. The League of Cities, it takes 7 days before they get it on their website. It has been running for about 3 or 4 days on their website. We've reached out to the local accountants and spread the word within the local accounting firm. So we're reaching as hard as we can. I think Lindsay was going to put it on Indeed and a couple of other local job search engines to see if we can find an accountant. Right now, Lindsay is doing an excellent job as an interim city clerk, so thank you.
All right, any questions concerning resolution 20-03?
Is the position going to remain under the city administrator,
City clerk will not be,
but the accountant will?
accountant will be. Any other questions? All right, do I have a motion to read for resolution 2003 by title only?
make a motion to read the resolution 2003 by title only.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any objections? Please do so.
A resolution of the City of Mexico Beach, Florida, ratifying the creation of a staff accounting position and a job description for the city clerk and staff accountant, which were approved by the city council by voice vote during its March 25th meeting of 2020.
While it doesn't say, I assume we need to accept resolution 20-03.
We can vote on it.
Just so to make it, so it's in the record. One thing I want to comment on 2003 is that the way it is written, it gives us the opportunity to still have a clerk / accounting person, because it's written as some of these duties may be assigned to. They're not, it's not guaranteed that if we get lucky and find somebody, then we still have that option. Do I have a motion to accept or approve resolution 20-03?
I make a motion to approve resolution 2003.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Mayor Kathy?
Yes.
Mr. Pollock?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Keith?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Moving on to number 5. Mario, that's, I'm assuming
Yes, sir.
that's you.
MX1 is the main lift station that pumps everything from the city through Tyndall Air Force Base over into the county. And it's been a project that's been underway for a good bit of time. The pumps that are going there, we're getting 2 pumps. There are 2 pumps that currently function there. And we're augmenting it with 2 future pumps. We rebuilt the ones that were there. Again, this is all part of the Hurricane Michael rebuilding of everything. And the pumps are taking longer to receive than we had hoped. It's adding 95 days to the overall period. Again, the pumps are very particular. It's brand specific. There's a lot more to it than I can tell you other than it's complicated. And then the other component to this is instead of the gate being 12 feet, it needs to be 16 feet because of the way that the electrical panel is. You can really only squeeze in the back truck on one side, so they're requesting a 16-foot gate instead of a 12-foot gate. This is the cost difference in this scenario is only about $2,000 for the gate. There is no cost difference for the pumps.
And 95 more days.
The 95 more days is the cost in a sense, but not dollar cost.
And we're totally operational.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I keep in mind that we are limping along with other pumps and generators, and we feed it diesel fuel to keep it going. So the city is fully operational. This is the final fix that will make us more efficient.
All right. Questions about MX1 or the pumps / time request? Okay, so the bottom line is we're just changing, it's $2,200 is the approval needed.
Yes, sir.
All right, if there's no questions or comments, Chair will entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve change order number 3 for MX1.
If you don't mind, please include the amount.
I don't have an amount here. Is it 22?
$2,200. It's in there.
Okay, 22 for $2,200.
Okay.
Is that on-
second? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further comments? Call the roll, please.
Mayor Kathy?
Yes.
Mr. Pollock?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Keith?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, number 6 is resolution 20-04. Again, Marlo, this is, I think falls under your,
Yes, sir.
go ahead.
Mayor, every year you do an audit. This year's audit is going to be a good bit more complex because of the hurricane and because of all the funds that have come in through FEMA that push us to a different level of auditing that I'm not sure that our prior auditors could actually handle. In the best interest of the city, what we've done is we've written the specifications to make sure that whoever is applying for this particular job is capable of doing the levels of audits that need to be done to basically address 20-some-odd $1 million worth of grant monies that come in. Within that process, the state of Florida, in its legislative session last year, adopted a requirement that cities have an audit committee. That audit committee has to be a minimum of 3 people, and it can no longer be staff members. In the past, it could be 3 people and staff members. It didn't have a regulation on how you dealt with the committee component of it. So, since the state adopted that requirement, it requires 3 members in the committee. 1 that is suggested to be from the council, and then the other 2 in the outside world. It is a review of something that is so technical that it's very awkward to just say, Joe, can you be an audit committee member, without having some accounting experience? Because again, I can't tell you all the terms, but the different levels of audits and reviews and the terminology is outside of my level of expertise. If we have someone approve an auditor that doesn't know what they do, we won't get much of an auditor. So my suggestion, if y'all are okay with it, is to utilize the accountant that we've hired to help the city, which is Keith Lemasters. The other person that I would hope you would consider is Holly White. She is the chief accountant for the city of Panama City Beach, which has been an accountant for 30-some-odd years. She's been the accountant for the city of Panama City Beach for 20-some-odd years, and I've worked with her for the past 10 years, so I'm fully aware of her. And then a person within the council, and I was hoping that the mayor would do that based on his business experience and things like that. So we need to have a committee, and that is my suggestion for the committee, and that's all it is. It's just a suggestion for the committee. But we do need to form that before we can take the next step, which is to advertise for an auditor for the year that is effective October through October of 18 to October of 19, which is going to be a very tough year. And I don't want you to get sticker shock when this RFP comes in. It's going to be higher than what you've paid in the past. I think in the past we've paid somewhere around $20,000. I know that the city of Panama City Beach pays approximately $85,000. Much, much, much bigger city. But do understand that our budget this fiscal year that we're talking about auditing went from a $4 million budget to probably a $30 million budget. So there are some big changes that have happened, and we're going to need some very qualified help to help us through this whole process.
And no chance that Mr. Lemasters would be conflict of interest being on it, since he's doing some of the accounting?
Oddly enough, Nick was reading in on where you were going, and he wrote back, if they ask, more council members may be on it, and the outside folks like Holly and Keith do not need to be on the committee, but they are helpful. So based on that, I'm assuming that he says that they are okay.
So we need to formally
Adopt the committee,
adopt the resolution with those members?
if you would, sir. And if there's other people that you want, or if it just wants to be council members, again, all I'm doing is offering up some people that have background in it.
If we get to the point where we're overloaded and those people are saying we need some help, we could grab another council member at that point.
I'll be glad to relinquish my potential adoption to anyone at this table.
I think you'd be in for it.
But I don't, I will accept if there is no one else that wants to. All right, so then 2004, we need, first of all, we need to read it, and then we need to adopt it with those names. First of all, anybody want to put anybody else on there and or take anybody off? Have we spoken to them,
Yes, sir.
Holly and Keith?
Yes, sir.
All right, do I have a motion then to read resolution 2004?
Make a motion.
Trying to think, do you read and motion it and adopt it all at the same time on a resolution? I think you do. Just have, remember that. So do we have a motion to, and really, Bobby, if you would make the motion to adopt resolution 2004 with those three people? Does that make sense to you?
Make a motion to adopt resolution 2004 with, if you want to give me names again,
Holly
Holly,
White,
Keith.
Keith Lemasters, and Mayor Kathy.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, we have a motion to adopt resolution 2004
Second.
and a second. Any further questions? Somehow I've got myself cross-threaded, we have to read it,
Yes, sir.
by title only.
I'll read it.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
Resolution of the City of Mexico Beach, Florida, establishing an auditor selection committee and directing that committee to proceed with the statutorial process to procure an auditor. Tongue twister.
A motion and a second. Any further
Statutory.
questions? Call the roll, please.
Mayor Kathy?
Yes.
Mr. Pollock?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Key?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Moving on. Again, Mario, number 7 is you.
Yes, Mayor. Again, as I mentioned, this year's gonna be a little bit more complex than normal. The existing accounting program that the city functions under is called Springbrook. It's a cloud-based program, and you have modules within it. We have a module that does the water and sewer and sanitary, and we have a module for our payroll, and then we have a module to do all the paychecks and everything. This is an additional module that will allow us to take the projects that we have within the city that we're rebuilding to Hurricane Michael and actually make them project specific. So we can track the money coming in and the money going out for the canal. We can track the money coming in and going out for the dredge and so on and so on and so on. So this allows us to get into a lot more detail as opposed to right now all we really have is Hurricane Michael, money coming in, money going out. We need to tie it to individual projects so that we don't get ourselves in trouble, because it's not if this will get audited, it is getting audited, and how many levels of audits we have to go through. And if we can't answer those questions, it gets very complex.
And
This program, they've given us a not to exceed of, I believe, $4,400. The program itself is $1,800. The setup is what is the one-time cost that is additional. So next year, you won't have a $4,400 cost, you'll just have an $1,800 cost next year that gets added to the $15,000 cost that we already have for Springbrook.
and that includes, they'll train whoever we need?
The $4,400 is the initial setup and a certain number of hours of training.
Okay.
Okay, so because we are approving an annual reoccurring amount, we have to do a resolution. It's not just a purchase, so you want the resolution states not to exceed the $4,400, and we're good with that.
Yes.
Chair will entertain a motion to adopt resolution 20-05.
I make a motion to adopt resolution 2005 for the amount not to exceed $4,400.
So,
have a motion and a second. Is there any questions or comments? Please read.
A resolution of the City of Mexico Beach, Florida, approving an agreement with Springbrook for the purchase of a Springbrook project management module in the amount of $4,400.
Call the roll, please.
Mayor Kathy?
Yes.
Mr. Pollock?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Keith?
Yes.
All right, number 8, Mario, you're still up.
Yes, sir, Mayor. Currently, some of our larger cities that have a full-blown IT department have gone into a full-blown meeting where it's done without physical people. There are some meetings that are happening where not even the council has to show up. The governor has allowed that ability of creating a quorum by just digital. We did not have any such resolution, so we couldn't practice that per se until we've adopted one. Once we've adopted one, if the council chooses at our next meeting to only have 3 members here, or to have 3 members only available by Skype, or, again, it gives you a lot more freedom. It doesn't keep you from meeting as a group of 5. It allows you to shut it down to the general population as a physical body for the general population, but it provides them the ability to still provide feedback, still provide them to listen to and interact with the meeting through some type of digital form. This gives you the freedom of doing that. I'm not saying that you are, but if you choose to, you don't have to wait for the next meeting to do it. So this just gives you the maximum flexibility that if you choose to go that route, and if you choose to go that route, give me at least a week or so heads up so that we can take the steps. But what we're doing right now is this meeting is being Skyped. It is on Facebook, and we are also monitoring emails that are coming in through a designated site, so that if somebody chose not to come to the meeting, all they have to do is go onto our website, look at the email address, type in their question, it'll come in. Lindsay will be monitoring the question. She can verbalize the question to the council, and we can have a dialogue over the Ethernet somehow.
Okay, and Skype is a free app, correct?
Skype is a free app to the ability that we need to utilize it in order for us to be public. There is a cost to us. It's not that big a deal, but we have taken on that level of upgrade to our system so that we can make it accessible to multiple people.
And so it's not limited to how many people can join Skype for that?
Ours will not be. If you try to do one with just your basic Outlook, you couldn't do more than like 1 or 2 people. And again, I'm talking
Right.
about my profession.
Right.
But with this, we can have a multitude of people coming in and this allows you to verbalize through the system. From what I've heard of verbalizing through the system, it gets complicated because not everybody uses the phone, and then you've got to create some kind of a queue for people to speak and not speak. From what I've heard from my counterparts is if you do it by email, it becomes something that's a little bit more manageable. It gives us a record, and it just helps in the process. As we adapt in this scenario, we might be able to give more freedoms, but for right now, if we could limit it to email access to correspondence through the meeting, I think we can handle that. If we try to do it with the audio, I don't know how seamless that will be.
So you think it'd still be a problem even if just the council members were allowed to use the Skype and everyone else had to use email?
If the council members chose to use Skype, I think this would be a good platform to try that out.
I've got very limited use with Skype, but I have used it, and you essentially have the picture of who you're talking to, and they see you. And most phones, I don't know if Jerry's phone will.
I like you. Me and you. My phone won't. I can tell you now, my phone won't.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, that's all the questions I had.
And the one experience that I've had with, we had a council member that was in Texas and wanted to be in the meeting. And because there is a delay between the Facebook and the actual activity, and I don't know if Skype is the same way, he was hearing things and then his comments were coming back because there was the delay of that. I don't know if that is still a technical problem with Skype or not.
10 to 15 second delay.
10 to 15 second delay, and that's a lot longer than most people
Yeah.
like. I've got a buddy of mine that he has a 10 to 15 second delay, and I always wondered, John, are you listening? And he is listening.
Yeah.
It's just,
It's about 8 seconds each direction. At most.
so it is a little more cumbersome, but again, with each level that we do, I mean, we've already done some things here for social distancing, we've got monitors, we've checked, temperatures. Each thing that we do just makes us that much safer. So again, if that's something that a council member chose to do, it's definitely available.
Okay.
Okay, if there is, Chair will entertain a motion to adopt resolution 2006 if this council's pleasure.
I make a motion to adopt resolution 2006, authorizing the use of virtual public meetings.
For a second?
So,
We have a motion to second. Any comments and or questions? Motion second, please read.
A resolution of the City of Mexico Beach authorizing the use of communication media technology to conduct virtual public meetings as more particularly set forth in the body of the resolution, providing an immediate effective date, providing for expiration upon the termination of the Executive Order 20-52.
Call the roll, please.
Mayor Kathy?
Yes.
Mr. Pollock?
yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Key?
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on. Borrow your popular, keep going.
In our last meeting, we spoke about basically upgrading our streetlights and poles to allow for the ability to hang a wreath and put lights on it and things like that. At this point, Tommy and Bobby have worked together to come up with a solution, and it's approximately $1,956.60. It's not approximately, it's pretty exact, to do just that. And it's a rental agreement, so that's what you pay year after year.
The monthly amount is $163. And, once we sign the agreement, all we have to do is put the decorations on the pole. They cover everything else, taking care of it, with any problem, whatever. So, I think it's really the best way to go.
Well, it was the cheapest way to go too,
A whole lot.
by a long shot, yeah.
Yeah.
And in that environment, renting equipment is far better than owning equipment.
Mm-hmm.
It beats equipment out there.
I think Tommy's already got the poles picked out, and so there'd be more set up than what it was before, because they had gaps before and all that. So, if y'all wanna go ahead and do it, then we can get started.
Well, council, any comments?
I think it's a good idea.
I think it's a great idea, other than that we don't have a budget to see. I mean, that's an unbudgeted item. And I guess what would be, do you think that we could still do this if we waited until budget time? Which would be technically, our new budget starts October 1st.
It might make it a little tight. I don't know what Duke Energy's schedule's like, but
Well, somebody's always funny, but when it comes to the money, if we don't have a budget, we don't know what line item, who's taking this money out of what line item. I mean, we've sort of shot from the hip since the storm, and justifiably so, but at some point, when do we stop doing that? And while I'm for it, I'm not for it if we don't have the money or can't see our budget and what line items are available to, and for all we know, I don't know if anybody's tracking Public Works budget. I don't know what they're doing, to be honest, and that's sad to say, but it's a fact. And as nice as it is, it's not necessary. I think it's more responsible to know where the money's coming from.
I was hoping Tommy was gonna be here. I'm not sure how much time it take for them to hook the poles up and all that kind of stuff and do it.
I can definitely check and back into adoption of the budget time, and for the next meeting, I can at least give you a time frame of how far we can push this before it becomes critical, if you like. Maybe by then we'll have.
Well, that's just mine, that may be, you're looking at $360, is that it,
No.
$163.80
Right.
for 5 more months. When the new budget, we're working blind, it's not just, I don't know if we write them a check monthly or we pay them an annual fee, I don't know how that works.
I think Tommy said monthly.
Yeah, it'll be a monthly thing.
It's a monthly fee,
Yes.
And then if we do it, then it's probably a couple of months before they hook it up, so I feel like we would have, we need to know where the money's going. This is April and May, I say about 3 months before we unbudget. And then Mario check to see, that way we know where we're going.
yeah.
Well, it sounds like we got time to check and
Check,
still,
just try to get ourselves lined up where we know what we're doing.
So you want to table this bill for next
Or,
week?
yeah, why don't we just put it there and let's just get, see what information we can come up with, how far out they are. That's my suggestion. Everybody good with that, or we wanna do something different? All right, we're gonna table that, Mark, see if you can gather up a,
Yes, sir.
Tommy, somebody gathers up, can we still get our Christmas lights up if we wait a while? How much lead time we got at? Okay? All right, number 10, beach closure. Open that up for discussion.
Well, I'm still for closing, but I would like to be able to see keeping the, no access beach parking, allowing a certain amount of time in the morning and the afternoon for citizens to walk or maybe fish on the beach. Say like from, daylight till 9 a.m. and then from 5 a.m. to dark. To give our citizens something to do, and if we still have no access parking, we might be able to control it.
Well, it'd take a policeman to control it.
Oh, yeah. Well, still, it takes them out. They had to jump on some surfers yesterday.
Yeah, I know.
Uh,
Most of the time now, they typically do it from the highway. And we haven't had many people pushing the envelope, except, I think it was yesterday, like you're talking about.
I feel like in doing this, we might be able to satisfy both sides on this as far as, there's people that love walking the beach. And there's people that love to fish early morning. And I don't think if we can keep the no access parking, we can keep it down to a minimum of just our citizens. So that's my feeling.
Beach, and Gulf County has voted to keep their beach closed for a little bit longer, and Bay has kept theirs closed for a little bit longer, what does that do to the interlocal agreement with Gulf?
Well, we hadn't opened the beach.
I know, I said if you do.
I don't know. Al, you got any?
No, I don't know. I don't know how they would feel about a time slot for walking or using the beach for, I think we'd have to be a little more specific. Personally, I think, like, no chairs, no coolers, no umbrellas, no blankets, no, it'd have to be, I believe we could sell that, but I don't know that. I mean, we could, if that was to, if we made it very specific about what you could have down there.
Is Panama City's, I read the latest thing I got was that theirs was gonna reopen the 10th. Do we know if they're reopened?
I have not heard of them reopening at this point in time.
Well, the last report that I've got, I don't know if that's the last one that came out, but the last one I just read it a while ago, was that they were supposed to reopen the 10th. Have
I don't
anybody
know
heard?
anything about
They
it.
did
I
not.
haven't-
They did not
They
reopen.
did not.
Did they set a date when they were gonna
End
reopen?
of April.
Revisit it at the end of April.
Yes, we visited at the end of April.
Revisit. Nothing is open. Meaning Bay County / Panama City Beach / all of Gulf County and Franklin County.
I don't know if any of you heard Governor DeSantis's Friday noon broadcast, but in it he stated, for the 10 days prior to that, which would have been last week, they stopped 17,000 people at the blockade on I-95 and I-10 coming into Florida from Louisiana and the New York tri-state area. 17,000 in 10 days. If they stop those, you can imagine how many skip through any blockades on the secondary roads like Highway 98 where there was no blockade. And all of those people were heading into the state. Now, if we open our beach before Gulf County and Bay County open theirs, where do you think the majority of those people are going to try to come if there's no beach but ours open? You need to think about this, because if we open up and there's no beach open on either side of us, you are taking the chance of people bringing the virus in here, taking the virus into Port St. Joe, and I do not see how you can justify using the beach, which is an indulgence, which is an amenity, but is not an essential, necessary item, and weigh that against the possibility of an ambulance mix-up with Gulf or our health. How do you justify the health of the citizens against something that is not necessary? I know people want to go on the beach, but it is not an item that they must do. So think about that. If we're the only open beach, we know what will happen. It's already happened.
I don't think I heard any proposal about opening the beach. I heard a proposal about limiting who's down there and what you do certain times. Your comments of open beach, I think, are taken way out of context.
Right.
So, from what was said at this table, what you just commented, I didn't hear anything about that. But I think you can interpret how you want, which you seem to do. So, are there, Bob mentioned limiting, not only, but two time slots. Help me if I want to
Right.
paraphrase.
Daylight till, you say, 9 o'clock,
Okay.
AM, and from 5 p.m. till dark.
What time does it get dark?
7:30.
7:30?
Yeah.
What I'm looking at is basically, citizens walking. We would need to keep the, no access parking. And, again, I think Al has a good idea as far as the, you know, no towels, you know, blah, 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 or whatever.
30 minutes after sunset is when it's typically dark, which would be 7:40.
Yeah,
So it's sunset at 7:10.
if we do that, that's pretty much gonna eliminate the morning crowd unless somebody wants to fish from somewhere else. And that'll give our people a chance to exercise and fish. If we do that, I would say we should probably shorten the time period in the afternoon.
Okay. Well, I just really.
Just, yeah, because that gives somebody a chance to come, you know, an incentive to come over. I'm just saying, if we do that, if we shorten it, probably keep.
People coming over, if you don't allow them to congregate, if the sole purpose is to open it for those to exercise / use our beach, a guy driving over here, if he's just gonna have to walk, he might not want, he might walk where he is. You know what I mean? If you can't have anything down there,
Mm-hmm.
is my point.
Mm-hmm.
If you eliminate that,
Mm-hmm.
a guy coming here to,
Surf
or
or
3 or
fish.
4 coming, I mean, you know, they gotta, I don't see.
I don't think they're gonna come just to do that.
Well, that's an option. I think the thing with Gulf County and the EMS service, let's fast forward through that in terms of we police our parking like we did for a few days. I don't know what Gulf County's gonna say.
Do you think we need to contact them and say,
Yeah,
here's what
I
we're
think
thinking?
at this point, we definitely have to. We wanna be more responsible about talking to them than they were talking to us. I'll
Sure,
tell you that.
absolutely. So if we table this for just one more week until we can contact, Gulf
Yeah,
County.
we certainly have to go through them because I don't know how they will view this
Yeah,
based on their, I don't know. I can't speak to that. But it's easy to find that out. I don't know, I mean, they may have to meet to decide that. I don't know, you can't just call the chairman and he'd say, sure, that'll work. You know what I mean? So it's gonna take some coordination if we wanna try to do that, and we could have a special meeting and decide if, or everybody even think about it. Maybe we get through here and, first of all, I don't know how everybody feels about even trying to do that, but if there's a consensus to try to do that. It makes the policing to me easier. I mean, you know, you're only there, they only have to police those in the morning and in the afternoon, everything else is closed like it is now. So from a policing standpoint, that seems doable, based on what we were trying to do.
Right.
I'm talking about in that 3-day period.
Well, I think we ought to,
You wanna explore?
first of all, contact the embassy. I definitely don't wanna lose the EMS.
No.
I don't wanna lose it.
Well, is there a consensus then to contact Gulf County and just make sure I got from sunrise to 9 o'clock, from 5 o'clock to sunset?
Mayor, if I can add to that, only because sunrise changes 3 minutes every day, and sunset changes 3 minutes every day, and it just caused confusion in other places where
All right,
I've
well then-
worked before. If we can say from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., and from, you said to shorten the afternoon from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., if we can give solid hours, it's a lot easier to.
Is it worth doing it for that?
yeah. These people are, I have
I'm
been,
just saying, is that hour and a half in the afternoon?
Or 5:30 or 5, or, again, I'm just opening it up.
Well, I'm trying to just, if we're gonna go 3 hours in the morning, I'll get to you, I see your hand. If we're gonna do 3 hours in the morning, 6 to 9. I mean, I'm open to, I'm not trying to say, I'm just asking.
The more you condense the hours, the more people you're gonna have within those hours. If they wanna come to the beach.
I think that the more you condense it, the less people are gonna even come over here for it, and it's gonna allow our citizens. Because everybody that I'm hearing from on emails and texts and everything, they wanna run on the beach and they wanna fish. You know, for the most part. They wanna utilize it as exercise and fishing.
And in the afternoon, you got the sunset watch.
And, yeah. Well, there were some sunset watchers on some of the boardwalks yesterday it was a nice sunset too. A few people got on it anyhow. So shortening it, I don't,
I'm open, I just need to tell Gulf County, so what, I'm just saying is an hour and a half. Maybe I misunderstood. Did you say 6 to 7:30?
About 5:30 to 7:30. That's 2 hours.
that's 2 hours.
2 hours.
Make a note of all this.
Yes, sir.
5:30, 7:30, 6 to 9.
And we'll.
I like the idea of no amenities, no umbrellas, no chairs, no. I mean, you know, is everybody okay with that?
I'm not.
Okay. Are you not for doing any of it?
Correct. I'm for holding off another 2 weeks.
Okay. All right, what about, is there?
Well, I'm-
Are you for trying it, or just, I mean, let's just try to figure out if we've got enough here to try to set up whatever we're gonna do.
Well, I can tell you the first day after we decided to close it and I rode down that beach going to work, I was very relieved, not having to worry about it, not having anybody here, not having the police or the fire department at risk for contacting the virus through running somebody off. So it was very nice. I think if we do this right here, I would be okay with that. If we can't agree to that, then I think I would be okay with keeping it closed for another 2 weeks. So I would vote for either one of them right now.
Well, we need to know if we got enough people.
I don't, they're both great ideas and I think they would both work.
I think we need to try something. Just.
Okay, so you're for trying to see what we can come up with, and
Let's see if Gulf
Let's
County-
start with Gulf County first, and then by that time,
I can
I have
handle
a
that.
whole idea of what people might want this time difference, so we can call a special meeting next week, and then we'll have more about it then. Because I didn't know.
All right, why don't we do this, why don't I broach the chairman, find out when he could give us an answer in terms of how they meet or with, you know, I don't know. I'll relay that tomorrow, he'll let y'all know here's where we are, and then we can, when we know we're gonna give an answer, then we can meet.
Then we'll be.
Okay.
We'll get more ideas about this.
So if you will, we need to make is everybody comfortable with the
Well-
times and that you don't have anything down there? I mean, you
Yeah.
have your fishing hole, but you
Yeah.
can't have, you know, no beach apparel.
No beach
Not
going
your
so.
family come out there while you fish.
I mean, you gotta be, you know, as far as congregating, yes ma'am, you got a question? And Rock, you too, hang on, I'm coming.
I think that what no one has thought about maybe or has said is that if people come here from other places, they don't just stay on the beach and go home. They go to the grocery store, they go to the dollar store, they might go to the liquor store, places that we have to go. So they don't just, you know, come to the beach and leave. And that is the problem, I think.
Well, I totally agree with that. For me, I totally agree that we don't want people coming here if we limit those times and we make it where the beach is not a fun place unless you live here, will someone drive here to use 3 hours in the morning and 2 hours, and if they can't have anything down there and they can't park anywhere unless they're here, that's, to me, pretty restrictive. I mean, that's my opinion, that's my opinion.
And see, my concern with the whole thing is making something available for our citizens that have been shut in so much.
Yeah, I think you cut the risk down to like 90, the high 90% percentile of people not coming here that are be coming from other places. I can't, other than surfers maybe come over here who are going to jump the waves and get out of here at 9 o'clock. I can't see anybody coming over here from there to do that.
Well, you gotta have-
Most girls want to lay out during the day when the sun's up, and they don't want to get up before 10 o'clock. So.
We, yesterday about the best surf day I've seen around here in months.
Yeah,
I mean, you won't have that much of that.
yeah.
Rock, what you got?
You know, you're talking about the beach, and like she just said, I am more concerned when I go to the package store, the grocery store, and the post office. I'm not concerned about the beach. When you guys closed the parking, you pretty much kept the beach crowd away. It was mostly locals here. What you haven't kept away, and you can't keep it away, is everybody in their vacation homes. You drive through Mexico Beach, every vacation home, the people from Georgia, Alabama, wherever, they're still coming here. So they're using everything else. And I like your idea, and I think somebody told me someplace in Georgia or the Carolinas was doing it, with the beach being open with nothing on it. I mean, you can't go fishing with a fishing pole without a cooler and something else and something else. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, if you could go to Bay, Gulf County, and see what they'll let us do, even if it's 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon with nothing. You just go to the beach, you want to walk, swim, whatever, have at it. That'll keep everybody from Panama City and everybody else out of here, coming here. Because who's going to come here but just go to the beach for a couple hours and walk around and go swimming when you can't bring a chair, nothing with you? And I like that idea. And that would suffice. Hopefully in a couple more weeks, this is all going to be over with. You know, believe me, I'd love to go to the beach every day, but I think that's the best thing to do, is just say, hey, can we get 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening? Nothing on the beach. And nobody's going to come, except the locals here who want to go jogging or swimming or whatever. And you can readdress all this again in 2 weeks.
We could actually, could we pass this contingent upon the fact that they say that we won't lose ambulance
Do
service?
that. If
And then that way we wouldn't have to-
comfortable doing it, yeah, let's have, yes, sir.
Can you just limit beach access to the town residents only?
No.
No.
We tried that.
Why not?
Nick said we couldn't.
Unconstitutional. Unconstitutional.
All right. Good answer.
Okay, chair's open for, yes.
Only because I'm tag teaming 3 things at the same time. Nick is texting me while you guys are talking. Whatever we do, we have to extend our closure because today is the end of our closure. So whether we go to Gulf County prior to or post, that's one thing, but no matter what we do, we need to extend the closure if we intend to extend the closure for 2 more weeks as step 1. And then if there is a step 2, make it contingent on if Gulf County is okay with the option of 2 hours in the morning or whatever in the evening. If that's okay, then we can make it contingent on whenever their meeting is complete. So you can do one thing here that adopts both of those things at the same time.
So we could say the beach is closed until we hear from, the beach remains closed until we hear from Gulf County and they are satisfactory with keeping us ambulance service based on what we're doing in the morning and in the afternoon.
The beach closure will still be for 2 full weeks.
Why would you have to do it for 2 full weeks?
Again, it's just our next meeting. It just simplifies things.
But we can then come in and
The
change
closure-
that.
The closure allows you to have access to the beach for exercise only, like you just talked about. It's
Oh,
still
okay.
closed, the beach is still closed, it's just access at that point.
Okay,
You're providing limited access.
Let's go ahead and let me make a motion. Keep the
Chair's
beach
open
closed,
for a motion.
to keep the beach closed for 2 weeks, till our next meeting. Let's do that, and then let's do the,
we're not gonna do it all in one?
You're saying close it for 2 weeks till the next meeting when we discuss all of this again?
no.
I didn't understand.
Okay, I was just trying to make 2 different motions. But,
Can I help you?
yeah, please.
Let's make a motion that the beach remains closed. Except for for 2 weeks, except for exercise, and we may not have to we may not can do that.
Okay.
You follow me? I mean, we may not can do that. Is Nick good with that?
He would suggest that, he just suggested that if we're gonna do the exercise, to call a special meeting after Gulf County.
Okay.
So, let's just do the closure, we'll go back and we'll have a special meeting.
Right.
Should have asked him to start, we should have been bothered.
There you go.
There you go. All right. So you get motions on the floor to keep the beach closed? What, was it 2 weeks? Is that what you said?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mayor Kathy,
No.
Mr. Pollock,
Yes.
Mr. Wallace,
Yes.
Mr. Smith, Mr. Keith. Oh, sorry.
I sure would,
No.
Mr. Keith.
So this is to keep it closed?
Yes, keep it closed for 2 weeks. But we obviously know we're gonna try to find out if we can come back, but that's the motion.
Okay, I'm confused.
If you make no motion today, the beach is open at midnight.
Okay,
If you make a motion today, it will continue to be closed for 2 more weeks. And it gives the mayor and myself the ability to reach out to Gulf County to see what their opinion is of exercise only. And then we'll, if they give an affirmative on that, then we would come back and have a special meeting.
so we got, is it me again?
You,
I'm gonna retract my vote, Madam Clerk. This is gonna get too convoluted. I'm gonna vote yes.
Okay.
can you back up with another?
This is gonna get too
yeah,
convoluted.
It's all yeses now.
Yes.
Okay,
That's close, 2 weeks.
Yes, yes.
There you
yes,
go. Okay, so the vote's 5-0.
yes.
Then all I can do is relate to Mario, who can relate to y'all, and then we can decide when and if the meeting's even needed.
Yeah, right.
It's all prevalent on the EMS service, and Gulf County agrees, and we
Correct.
use the same criteria that we just talked.
Right.
6 to 9, 5,
30 to 7.
5:30 to 7:30. Mario, you got all that down, so,
Yes, sir.
and no,
No coolers, no blankets, no nothing.
right.
If you're fishing, you're just fishing with the rod and walking the beach.
No cigarettes.
Can't even have a bucket.
What are you gonna put the fish in?
Fishing carts,
You gotta have that.
Are they put a little fishing cart down there?
See there, now we got, I mean,
It's up to y'all.
It's gotta be nothing, and you can't, it's gotta be nothing, just the people.
Okay, so a fishing pole.
Fishing pole.
Okay,
you can fish.
okay, so a fishing pole. Have to get a stringer.
No stringer.
Will the stick, you remember that? Will the stick.
Yeah, right, that's right.
All right, let's try to get this thing done.
Okay.
My mask is causing me to be uncomfortable. All right, where are we?
City attorney has nothing to add.
I wouldn't do that.
All right, we're moving to attorney report. He has nothing. Administrator report.
Mayor, I do have something. As everyone knows, we're going after grants and things, and one of the biggest grants that's come to the city, where they came to us instead of us going to them, is the Corps of Engineers has volunteered to spend $3.1 million to do a study and have workshops, and bring on their engineers and have enough concept and meet with Gulf County and Bay County and Panama City and the surrounding areas to see if it's an option to do a master stormwater system for Mexico Beach. In doing so, they need somebody that can sign for it. And right now, the mayor can sign for it, and I can't sign for it. If you would like for me to sign for it, I need your authority to sign for it.
To sign,
For all, there's 8 different places to sign applications, and there's a document where we're not allowed to lobby. It's just, it's the federal system, so you are more than welcome to sign.
I'm comfortable signing.
Okay, very good. Then
Good job.
Sign away.
Okay? What else? What else on your report?
We continue to have meetings on a weekly basis with Bay County and all the updates on COVID-19. One of the things that was discussed, we are not the first municipality to discuss partial beach access. This is being discussed on the East Coast and other locations. So I hadn't said that before to y'all, but we're thinking along the same lines of some other municipalities along that. There is another project that we're working on that is, again, another $3.1 million parcel of money. It's the NRC cleanup of debris on Salt Creek. They've been a little bit of a stickler on what they define as the creek, as being the pure water body. And what I'm trying to get to them is that the water body is a tidal water body that has a flood area that goes out into the marsh grass every single day. And I'm trying to get them to understand that the width of the creek is the marsh grass, not the strict flow of pure water. If we don't go out to the marsh grass, there's not a whole lot of reason to do a whole lot of cleanup, because if all you can do is go 50 feet from the water's edge, you don't get to where the debris is, because the debris floated across the top of the marsh grass and deposited itself on the upland. So it is an ongoing thing. At this point, we've got everybody stirred up to the kernel level and everything else trying to get that to happen. We did get a little bit of money over the last week. We received $1.169 million for management costs, which is some of the Adkins cost and Alyssa's cost and Dewberry's cost. So we will be paying them for some of their time. We also got some funds for citywide signage, for the City Hall building, citywide building and safety inspection, and another citywide building and safety inspection, and then the Paradise Path culvert. So those are projects that some of them have already been completed, and we're getting funds coming back in. So we have approximately $1.462 million that we will start disseminating. What I'd like to do in the next week or so is figure out a good way of disseminating that money and then bringing it to the council for that. So that is that.
When you say signage, that's street signs or just a
That is
signage?
citywide signage. Yes, that would be the street
You
signs.
took the words out of my mouth.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and that is actually, that's a scope of work that Dina had completed. We had not put it out on the street because we hadn't got funds for it, but now that we've got the funds for it, we will put it out on the street. Along those lines, there's another project that we have had out to the street, which is the city's marina and seawall that is incorporated there. That project is probably 3 to 4 weeks out before, if we don't give them the go-ahead, their price is gonna go stale unless I can talk to them and ask them to hold their price a little bit longer. But until we get funds for that, I'm a little uncomfortable releasing somebody to do $2 million worth of work without the funds having come in. But that's coming up in the not too distant future. Nick was saying that we did bid out the street, but he also backed it up by saying that the bid is stale.
You know, we have some street signs.
It started on that side,
Yeah,
it just
yeah,
stopped.
I know.
FDOT did a little, some of it might be a little FDOT, and then we probably did some for safety also.
Okay.
We've had some
That DOT.
next signs put up.
Yeah.
All right, are you
That is it.
done?
That is it.
All right. Any council comments?
I'd like to see the city get cleaned up. I don't know how we're gonna do that. I get more complaints about areas around town where nothing's been touched since the storm. And like trailers, houses, and there's a danger there. We talked about once condemning these areas. I know we can't afford to go in, the city cannot afford to go in and clean it up. And we've got other areas around the city that people have just piled stuff. Not in front of their house, but in somebody, and just, everybody's seen it if you've driven around. And I don't guess we can get any help from FEMA to help us clean that up, can we?
No.
We did send out letters on the 9th of April, that told people that their site has been in disrepair for 18 months, and that they had 10 days to come back to the city and give us a plan. And if they didn't come back to the city with a plan, that their initial citation was $250. So if they're working with insurance, if they're working with a contractor, if they're destitute, again, give us something
Yeah.
in 10 days. And it might have been 14 days, whatever number of days Kathy put together the letter. We did that for both the RVs and the demolition. So we're hopeful to get a plan of action
Right.
for the RVs and the buildings in the not too distant future.
That's good. So, yes, we're nearly forcing people to come back and talk to us about the situation, which is great.
Somebody clarified, it's 15 days for the letter.
Yeah,
15
days.
That's good. Good deal.
So by the next meeting, we should have some data
Mm-hmm.
to see if any of our efforts were successful.
So some of these mobile homes have been sitting here chopped in half, like the one at the end of Colorado Drive right in Maryland.
They got a letter.
$250 is the fine for that, sitting there for a year and a half? What happens after that? It's just a $250 fine? Are they fined like $100 a day after that?
Just-
The next month it doubles, doesn't it?
Keep ringing.
Next month it doubles, doesn't it?
I don't even know that it takes a month. I think a week she can put another.
So 15 days it can double?
15 days we need a response back.
We get a response. If we don't get a response, it's an automatic $250. We could give them another fine the following week. We give them another fine in 2 weeks, or we can give them a fine a
They
month.
have to sign that if they don't sign for the certified letter, that's, we sent all those certified.
Yes, sir.
So if they don't sign for that, then you got a little, I'm talking about as far as assessing $250 is what I'm saying. Maybe we just have to knock on some neighbors' doors and find, you gotta have to be somewhat of an investigator to find some of these folks. I don't know, just give her a chance to see what happens.
We've already found one business that doesn't respond to certified letter, but we know where the individual is, so we're gonna serve as opposed to send.
Mr. Cole, what you got?
I've got a new topic. We're losing a lot of sand off the dunes. And I know, I've seen other places, like Snow Fence or something, has stopped that erosion process. I think we ought to look into doing something. I'm not sure what, but the dunes,
Do what?
the sand dunes.
Oh, sand dunes.
Yeah, we're losing a lot of sand. And I think one cure is put up snow fence or something like that to stop it. It's a little bit of an eyesore for a short while, but pretty soon it helps build up the dunes. I don't know, just an idea to float out.
Well, the vegetation was all along there from the dune, out to the dunes, so the vegetation used to keep it in.
Right.
And other than, I really don't know what you do, because if you put up a silt fence, it's gonna blow over the silt fence. So,
Want to pile up against it?
Well, I mean, some will, but most of it's gonna go over it. I mean, so it's a difficult thing until that vegetation comes back.
Is DOT gonna do something with the side of the roads?
Yeah.
Like put grass down?
DOT putting all the palm trees back, they have a landscaping plan. But I don't know when they're gonna do it. Some of that was delayed from the city initially thinking that we were going to be successful getting angled parking along that part of the beach. Y'all may remember that angled parking concept. And that all sounded good and looked good, and we were given initial response that FEMA thought that was mitigation. That went away, the mitigation part went away, and so probably what we need to do is touch base with DOT and find out where we are on because if there's no angle parking, at least what I call foreseeable future, I think we ought to go ahead, because the DOT is doing the palm tree slash
Landscape.
landscape. But that's why that got initially backed up. We were told angle parking, FEMA was all over that for mitigation, that it would help preserve the road. Well, a lot of things.
I'll
Yeah,
check with
FEMA is difficult to navigate. You don't need to always just write down what they say. All right, any other council comments? Motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Thank you everyone for coming. Stay safe. All these have to be reprinted.
Before you leave,